Hi everyone, this is the Nordic Venture Show, your guide to the exciting world of Nordic startups and venture capital. In today's episode, we're exploring a startup called Kuva Space.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive. Today we're blasting off into the world of hyperspectral imaging and space tech with Kuva Space.
Their goal: creating a massive constellation of over 100 satellites to observe the Earth like never before.
Yeah, I was checking out their website, and they're talking about some seriously ambitious goals, like using this technology to revolutionize everything from agriculture to environmental monitoring.
It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about the potential here. We're not just talking about pretty pictures from space. This is about getting a deeper understanding of our planet and its resources.
Okay, so I have to admit, hyperspectral imaging sounds kind of intimidating, right? Like something out of Star Trek. Can you break it down for us? What exactly are we talking about here?
Well, think about it this way. Our eyes see a limited range of colors, right? Hyperspectral imaging is like giving satellites the ability to see hundreds of colors, each revealing unique information about what they're looking at.
So instead of just seeing a forest, these satellites could differentiate between types of trees.
Exactly. They could even tell if those trees are healthy, stressed, or if a disease is spreading through them.
Wow, that's amazing. And I imagine that kind of detail would be incredibly valuable for agriculture as well.
Absolutely. Imagine a farmer being able to see exactly which parts of their fields need more water or fertilizer.
Or being able to spot a pest infestation before it even becomes visible to the naked eye. That's incredible.
Exactly. And that's just one example. The applications for this technology are almost limitless.
So it's like giving farmers, scientists, all sorts of experts a real-time X-ray vision of the Earth. That's quite the image. But why a constellation? Why do they need so many satellites for this? One really good one, isn't that enough?
Well, with a single satellite, you're limited by how often it passes over a specific location. A constellation, on the other hand, provides much more frequent coverage.
So instead of getting a snapshot once a week or even once a day, you're talking about near constant monitoring.
Precisely. And that makes a huge difference, especially when you're talking about things that are changing rapidly, like tracking the movement of oil spills or monitoring deforestation in real time.
And they specifically highlight food security on their website. They see this as a key application for this tech.
With the global population growing all the time, understanding our food supply is more critical than ever. What's so fascinating about their approach is how it can go beyond simply monitoring crop health. It can actually help diagnose problems.
So instead of just seeing that a field is struggling, they could pinpoint exactly what nutrients are missing or if there's a disease spreading.
Exactly. Imagine a farmer receiving an alert. Your wheat field has a nitrogen deficiency. That kind of early intervention could mean the difference between a bountiful harvest and a lost season.
And potentially that means more stable food prices for everyone, right? Which, let's be honest, is something we could all get behind these days with grocery bills being what they are.
And it's not just about food, right? Kuva Space also talks about carbon monitoring as another major application.
Yeah, there's a lot of buzz these days about carbon offsetting with companies investing in those projects to, compensate for their emissions. It seems like a bit of a wild west out there, though, in terms of actually knowing which of these projects are legit.
Exactly, and that's where this tech gets really interesting. It's one thing to say, hey, we planted 1 million trees, but proving that those trees are actually thriving and absorbing carbon, that's a whole lot trickier.
And that's where Kuva Space comes in. They're saying their data can actually verify those carbon offsets.
Precisely. Their hyperspectral imaging can provide that much-needed transparency, letting investors actually see, okay, this project is doing what it promised.
So no more greenwashing, just hard data. I like it. Okay, their website also touched on something they call safety and security applications, which, I gotta admit, sounded a little vague. What'd you gather from that?
Yeah, they're understandably a bit tight-lipped about the specifics, but it sounds like they're talking about using this tech to monitor activities that are hard to track conventionally, things that someone might try to hide.
Like, give me an example.
Think illegal fishing operations way out at sea, or maybe even detecting oil spills as they happen. The possibilities are pretty far-reaching.
So it's like giving environmental agencies or maybe even intelligence agencies a whole new set of eyes, and not just seeing that something's there, but what it's actually doing, right?
Exactly. It's about providing actionable intelligence.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, they're not just talking about launching these amazing satellites sometime in the future. They've already launched a 6U CubeSat this year.
Hold on, a CubeSat, those things are tiny, aren't they? So I swear I've seen ones the size of a shoebox. How can something that small house all the sophisticated technology?
That's the amazing part. These CubeSats are incredibly compact, but surprisingly powerful. Kuva Space has developed a special hyperspectral camera that delivers high-quality data from a small platform.
So it's not about launching these massive, expensive satellites anymore. It's about doing more with less. That's pretty cool.
It is, although they're not stopping there. They're also developing what they call the Hyperfield Next-Gen satellite.
Next gen. What's that all about?
It's going to be even better, obviously. Wider spectral range, higher resolution. It's going to be great.
Even more data, even clearer pictures. It feels like things are moving so fast in this field.
Oh, and here's another thing that jumped out at me. Their focus on near real-time data. That feels like a game changer, doesn't it? It's not like we're waiting months for analysis. This is about getting info we can act on immediately. It's like, why wait for the paper to come tomorrow when you can get weather alerts on your phone now, right?
Exactly. And that speed is critical. Think about disaster response, right? Getting real-time data during a hurricane or tracking wildfires as they spread. That's incredibly powerful stuff.
Okay, so I'm getting maybe a little too hyped up here, so let's take a step back. Lots of companies make big promises, especially in space tech. So what makes Kuva Space different? How do we know they can actually pull this off?
Well, for one, they're not just hype. They've actually launched missions already, successfully. And not just, simple stuff either. They sent a mission to an asteroid. Wait, seriously? An asteroid? Okay, that's impressive. They're not messing around.
Nope. And there's another thing. They're not some tiny startup working out of a garage. They've got a contract with the European Space Agency. And those guys don't mess around either.
That's true. The ESA has a pretty rigorous reputation, so that says a lot right there.
Yeah.
But okay, let's talk about the bigger picture for a second. We're talking about a huge amount of data about our planet. Data that could be used in so many ways. It's powerful stuff.
No doubt. And that's what makes this so fascinating, but also, maybe a little bit intimidating. It's a tool. It could be used for good or well.
Yeah.
It's a big responsibility.
Exactly. Like, we could become more efficient, more responsive, really understand our impact on the planet in a whole new way. But we have to think carefully about how we use this tech, right?
Absolutely. It all comes down to choices. We're the ones making the decisions.
So what will we choose to do with this incredible new view of our planet? That's the big question, isn't it? Kuva Space is giving us the tools. Now it's up to all of us to use them wisely. Wow, this has been quite the deep dive. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling inspired. A little overwhelmed, maybe, but mostly inspired. So until next time, keep looking up, keep asking those big questions, and maybe, just maybe, we can figure out how to use this tech to build a better future for everyone.
Thanks for listening to the Nordic Venture Show. Don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for more stories of innovation from the Nordics.